Hey guys, MEP guy here, and today I have a really cool video for you guys. We're going to pretty much go over everything Revit's capable of. For instance, I have this little setup here where I drew a hot water line to some mop sinks, and we have a hot water return line going to a water heater. Now, I just want to thank one of my viewers, Thaddy Junio, who said, "Best tutorial ever I watch. Highly recommend my stuff, and hope you make a video how to make fittings, estimate, or material takeoff." Well, Thaddy, we're not just going to go over how to do a material takeoff. We're actually going to go over how to measure all of this length of piping, and also at the same time you're going to be able to do a material takeoff using the same method for anything in Revit. So for this example, I have created these different loops of hot water supply from a water heater down to some mop sinks, and I have a hot water return line right here. Now, I didn't model it, but there would be a recirculating pump right here. So when you're doing a hot water and hot water return calculation, you're going to need the lengths of pipe. So I wanted to kind of kill two birds with one stone by showing how to calculate lengths of pipe. And you could also do this for HVAC when you're running refrigerant piping and there's a maximum distance allowed. So anyway, to get this calculation, I'm going to show you how to do this starting from scratch. So we're just going to go to New. I'm going to browse and find my plumbing default template. Hit open. Now that Revit's loaded up, we need to add a sink and a water heater. I'm going to go to Insert, Load Family, go to this location for your water heater, click on water heater, open, and now let's load in our sink, load family, hit back, hit back, hit back, go to MEP for plumbing, fixtures, sinks, and we're just going to select this work sink right here and hit open. Okay, now the boring part is over. Let's just go ahead and select these little elevation markers. We're going to hide them in view by the category. That looks good. Let's go ahead and add our water heater. So I'm going to go to System, Mechanical Equipment, and our water heater is already loaded in. We'll just put it about right there. Hit Escape. Let's zoom in real quick, and we'll just start drawing our pipe from our water heater so our systems are already working. So I'm just going to click that Add Pipe button right there. We'll bring our piping up to 9 feet so it works, and we'll just head this way, and we'll just change our scale so things look a little cleaner. 1/2 equals a foot. I'm going to select the piece of pipe here, right click, draw pipe. I changed my selection highlight to yellow for you guys so you can see it, and we're just going to make a nice long run about that long, and we're going to come back to here. And we're going to come back to about right there. Now I'm just going to click on my water heater right here, and we know there's going to be a connector right here for the cold water system, so I'm just going to start drawing pipe. Now I have to make sure I draw the pipe at 9 feet or else it won't work, so this is going to be my cold water supply coming into the water heater, and I changed the color so you guys could see it. Now this pipe is going to be our return pipe, and I'm just going to connect it in. Maybe we'll use trim extend right there. We'll do something like that. That looks good. Now I have my big loop, so I'm going to go ahead and add some sinks up here. So let's add a plumbing fixture. So we'll go to Systems, Plumbing Fixture, and I'm just going to rotate this by using the space bar, and we're just going to put maybe 3 plumbing fixtures right here. Let's maybe put one in the middle, and let's put another one right here. Hit Escape. Now we're just going to select one, connect into, and we'll select hot water, and we'll just select our pipe right here. That looks good. Do this one, connect into, select hot water, select our pipe right here. Looks good. And like I showed you guys in some other videos, if we want to open up a 3D view, we can do that. And we can also go ahead and just select our equipment or our fixture, and we can just use connect into right here and make sure we use hot water and click a point right here. And we can do that in a 3D view as well. So let's go back to our floor plan. I just wanted to show you guys that technique real quick. And now we have this hot water loop, and everything's looking good. So I'm going to go ahead and make a hot water return line as well. And the way I do that is I'm going to have to create a new system. So when I click on a piece of pipe, you're going to see that there is systems down here. And right now we just have, it's on the domestic hot water, and I can't really change that right here. If I go to piping systems, I'm not going to be able to change that right here as well either. And the reason that we can't change it is because it's already connected to this system right here. So Revit's not going to allow us, but here we go. Let's do something. And I've showed you guys this in another video. So we're just going to disconnect this piece of pipe right here. And now the pipe is just kind of floating. Well, let's actually make sure this pipe is floating. I think we still have it connected down here. Yeah, we do. So let's go ahead and disconnect it down here. So now it's definitely just a floating piece of pipe. So we'll hit escape. So we have this floating piece of pipe, and we can go ahead and now when we go to our system type, Revit's going to allow us to change this system because it's not connected to any other system. So, you know, we can actually make this change now. So I'm going to go ahead and make this change, but as you can see, I don't really have hot water return piping here. So there is one thing I do know. Hot water return piping is basically the same type of system as domestic hot water. So let's go ahead and make a hot water return system. So to make a new system, we're just going to search. And I'm just going to search for hot water using my little search box. And you can see there is piping systems down here, and there's this piping system called domestic hot water. We're just going to duplicate that one. And we're just going to rename this. Let's do hot water return. Hit enter. And now we have this piece right here we can select. And let's just make this hot water return. And let's go ahead and change the color of hot water return so we can distinguish it. So we'll go to piping systems, edit type, and we'll just change the graphic overrides to maybe this pink color because it's not as hot. And now all of our piping has changed, and look at that, it looks pretty good. Now I'm going to show you something that happens with Revit just for educational purposes. Now when we have a system and we connect it to another system just like this, watch what happens. Revit's actually going to change that piece of pipe to whatever system it chooses this time. I thought it was actually going to change to the hot water return, but let's try it again down here and see what happens. So we're just going to remove this fitting by hitting this little minus button after we select it, and we're just going to tee into here on this cold water line, and you can see since there was a fitting there, it actually separated the system. So I just wanted to demonstrate that real quick. So let's actually redo that, and let's go up here to our hot water, and let's just go ahead and make that T again. So let's just, you know, take this piece and we'll just go up to here, and let's make sure this looks right in 3D. So this is looking, see, this is not working. I'm just going to use the trim command right here, and we're just going to make sure there's a little fitting there. So let's go back to our floor plan, and now we can take this piece of pipe, drag it over, and sometimes in Revit it's just easier to redraw something. So I'm just going to go here, and we're just going to go up to this point, and we're going to right click, create similar. And I'll go from this point, and we're just going to go into that fitting right there. So let's look at the 3D. Everything looks to be looking correct, so everything is good for now, I believe. So now we have our hot water supply line, and then our hot water return line right here. Okay, so I'm going to actually change the sizes so we can distinguish these. So I'm going to tab into these pieces right here, and those are 3/4 inch. That's good. And all three of these are 3/4, but we're actually going to change our return pipe to a 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to tab into those, and let's change those and make them a little smaller to save some money. So we're going to make those a 1/2 inch, and we'll make our cold water supply piping, we'll just make that 1 inch so we can differentiate it. So I'll select all the pipe here, and we'll just make that 1 inch. Hit escape. Now let's go ahead and do some magic to this little loop right here. So for illustration purposes, let's just show you guys what I have here. So we'll take this section box right here and we're just going to drag it out, and we're going to drag it over here, and this is essentially what we have as our hot water loop. I'm going to hide these levels in the view by category, and we're just going to hide this section box by category for right now. So now we can just isolate this little loop, and we're just going to do some quick scheduling to show you guys how to calculate the lengths of pipe. Alright, so to do a new schedule, we're just going to go to View, Schedule, Schedule Quantities, and we're going to go down to Pipe. So we click anywhere and just hit P, and we're going to go to Pipes down here, hit OK. And we're just going to go through these parameter values and select the things we need to schedule. So let's go through here. Maybe I want to do diameter, so we'll just add it right there. We'll do, we're not going to do family and type. We're going to do length, and we're going to do system name and system type. And as in Revit, we can always revise this later if we want. So we're just going to click OK and see what happens. Now I want to zoom in on this schedule so I can see it, so I can hold control and just use the middle mouse wheel, and we can kind of zoom in on this schedule right here. And I can even kind of bring it to the side here so we can work in both our views right here. So let's bring that. Let's just move this over. And now we have our schedule looking pretty good. Now I don't really want the system name. I want system name to be on the left side, and I want the diameter to be next. So let's change that up. So let's go back to fields, and let's just move system type to the top. Just move this over for you guys, and we'll move system name over to the top, and we'll do diameter length. That looks good. So that's what this is looking like so far. So the reason I wanted to show you guys system type and system name is because the difference is kind of subtle, and we're going to show you that graphically right here. So another thing that's cool about schedules is when I click on a piece, it will highlight it on the actual piece. So if I keep clicking, you're going to see this piece right here is displayed highlighted right here. So this piece is on the domestic hot water system type, but it's actually, the system name is domestic hot water 1, and the diameter is 3/4 inch, and the length of pipe is 56 feet long. Alright, so let's get started. So let's kind of investigate what this system name is. So I'm just going to zoom in on my pieces, and if we click on any piece of pipe, we can also see the system name in the properties box over here, and you're going to see system names right here, and it's domestic hot water 1. And if we clicked on this one as well, you're going to see domestic hot water 1. Now if I go to piping systems up here, you're going to also see domestic hot water 1. And so that is the system name that Revit has assigned these pieces of pipe, okay? And you can see this little dashed mark. All these sinks are actually on this system called domestic hot water 1, and that's where the system name is coming from. Now the system type is the overall type of system, and we know that the type of system is up here is domestic hot water. Okay, so I just wanted to explain that real quick, okay, because it's just kind of important. Alright, so now we want to kind of group these things so we can do some calculations, okay? I know we don't have a ton of pipe to do this. We could easily quickly measure this, but you can imagine if you have a giant building, you're going to want to be able to do this in Revit, so it makes your life a little easier. So let's go ahead and click into the schedule again, and we'll go back to, we'll start by sorting and grouping this thing. And the first thing we want to sort by is probably the system type. And we can do a couple things here. We can do a footer, and we can, right here, we can do the title count and totals, and let's just see what happens there. So when I did that, you can see the system type got, the totals came up right here. So, you know, there's 3 of these system types right here. Okay, so that's not really what we want. So let's go back. Let's go to fields. Oops, let's go to sorting and grouping. And let's just get rid of that footer. Now I'm going to go to formatting, and this is where we can do some kind of calculations as well. So I'm actually going to go to length, and maybe I want to summarize the length of these pieces of pipe. So you can see down here we can calculate the totals. So I'm going to hit OK. And that didn't appear to really work. Nothing's really happening here. So something's up. Let's go back to fields or filter or grouping. We need to click on this thing called grand totals, okay? And what that will do is it'll total up all of these different columns we have. So let's click OK on that. And so now you can see at the bottom it counts all of these, and it counts 18, but it also counts all of my length of pipe, okay? So that's all the pipe in the whole project right now. So we have 197 feet of pipe. So that's getting us the total amount of pipe we have in the project, but maybe we'll want to separate these a little more. So let's go back to sorting and grouping, and let's actually, the next thing we're going to sort by is system name. Okay, so we have system type sorted first, and then we're going to use system name, and that's right here. So maybe we want to add a footer, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do title, count, and total to see what happens. So now we have these grouped as our system names, and we have the length of each system name. Alright, so this kind of helps us a little more. We know that our cold water piping that was 1 inch is now being grouped together, okay? And also our hot water piping is now being grouped together, and our return piping is also being grouped together, these 3 rows right here, and then our grand total we have right here. So we can start to use this for some of our calculations. So I have my hot water return piping right here, and if I wanted to just quickly know how long this piece of run is, I can just go right here to hot water return, and I know I have 3 pieces, and the total is about 86 feet. Now I know what you're thinking, MEP guy, all I had to do was go here and use the measure, and we could have just measured this using the chain right here, and I could have just measured this to right here to about right here, and that's 91 feet right here, and that's about the same as 86. I see what you're saying, okay? I get it. But if we had a ton of these, so let's do that. Let's stretch this over like this, and let's just add, you know, 4 more of these. So let's go up to 4 up here, hit O, and then I'm gonna drag it to this point right here, and now we have 4. So let's take a look at our schedule. So let's drag this window over, and we have 4. So let's start to look at what Revit's doing. So it's still using this system name, but now I have another cold water system called Domestic Cold Water 4, and I have one called Domestic Cold Water 7 and Domestic Cold Water 10. So everything is starting to schedule up, and obviously we have the same lengths here, but you know what I can do is if I wanted to kind of find out which one was which, let me just move these over, and you can see that one of these is probably going to be a little longer as far as the hot water goes. So let's go to the hot water, and this one actually has 103 feet, and the rest look like they're probably going to have 78 feet. So we're starting to get somewhere now, okay? Now, I know what you're thinking. Maybe there's a time where I just want to quickly measure the amount of hot water return piping, or maybe I just want to measure this hot water loop right here that I have without, you know, maybe there's a bunch of up and downs going throughout my building and I don't really have the ability to measure it. So to illustrate that point, I'm just going to go to modify, and we're just going to split this piece of pipe right here, and I'm just going to pull it back right here, and let's just draw this pipe, and we'll draw it up to 50 feet, and we'll just go to this point right here, hit escape, delete this, go to our 3D view, click this button, and we just want to connect these guys right here, so I can do that in a 3D view pretty easily. See, when it highlights, that means I'm right below it, and there we go, it automatically connected it for us. So that was pretty nice. So if I need to measure this, it's kind of, you can imagine if a whole loop was going through the building, it would be pretty tough. So I do have a really cool technique for you guys. So here we go. So it's not even showing this piece of pipe because my view range is off. Let's change that. Click on view range, and let's just make the top unlimited for this right here so I can see all that. So I'm just going to select all my pieces of pipe, and we don't want to select these pieces down here, so let's deselect those by holding shift. And maybe we don't want to select these pieces that go up right here, and let's go to the 3D view and make sure we deselect these little pieces right here. So I'm just holding shift and deselecting all of them. Now there's these little nubs right here, so let's hold shift again and deselect those. And now I just have my loop right here, okay? So here's a little trick for you guys. All you have to do is use the identity data, okay? So I'm going to actually put some comments in this, and I'm going to name this my hot water loop. Hit enter. Okay, so now I'm going to do a whole new schedule. So let's go to view, let's go to schedules, schedule quantities, and we'll do the same type of thing. We'll just go to pipes, hit OK, and we'll just do our system type. Let's go right here, and we'll just use the length right here. And we also need to use the comments. So we'll go to comments and add those as well. So we want system type, length, and comments. I'm going to move comments up right here. Hit OK. And we have this new schedule, so let's throw it in here. Let's hold control and zoom in. Now I want to only filter by those comments that I just made on my pieces of pipe, so let's just filter those. And we're going to filter by comments, and I'm just going to say contains, and I'm just going to say loop. Hit OK. And now you can see my hot water loop is right here, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to summarize that field. So I'm going to go to sorting and grouping, and we're just going to do grand totals right here. And we have to make sure that this length is calculating, so let's go to formatting and length, and we'll make sure that's calculating the totals right here. So here you go, guys. This whole run of piping, this loop, is 402 feet. So that's just a little trick if you want to quickly calculate lengths of pipe for maybe a hot water loop or something. You can actually just select your loop in the project and add it to the comments. Now I'd like to get rid of those comments because I don't really want those comments floating around inside my piece of pipe. So if you want to get rid of them, all you have to do is let's use our schedule. We'll hold shift and we're just going to select all our pieces. You can see they're highlighted in this view now. And let's just go click into this view, and it's still selected. And let's just go to our comments under identity data, and let's just select them and hit delete. And you can see now, since the filter is not, it's using loop, there is no pipe that has the comment of loop in it. So I just quickly calculated my pipe and I removed those comments. But let's just undo that real quick because I want to keep them in my project. So I would probably save this schedule, and that way I could start to calculate all of my different loops of piping. So let's continue, and let's go into kind of part 2 of this little video, and maybe we want to do some takeoffs with all this information we have. But before we do that, I do want to show you guys another little trick. This system name, you cannot change it right here in the schedule, and I definitely can't change the system type. At least I thought I couldn't. Maybe I can. No, so you cannot change the system type. And you can't really change the system name right here, but what we can do is, let me go to this system right here. So we got this hot water line right here, and I can find out what system name it is by just going down here, and it's system name hot water 24. So that's going to be way the heck down here. And this is my hot water 24, and that was 240 feet of pipe that we calculated in our other schedule. So let's just check that. Well, it's 402 because it's a full loop. So anyway, let's go back. And what I want to do is I want to change the name of this system name. So the way I do that is I go to piping systems, and I can go under system name, and I can change this to my hot water loop. Like that, and that's going to change my system name to hot water loop. And so you can go out throughout your project and you can name these different systems. Now this system name only applies to this hot water that's going through here and anything basically that's going to this point. So let's just check this out a little bit. Let's investigate it. Oops. So let's go here and let's just click on one of these pieces right here. And let's just check the system name. See, this system name is 27. So let's go to this one right here. And this one should be that hot water loop that we renamed. So you can see that when Revit actually gets to this fitting, it actually changes the system name, okay? So let's go to this one, and you can see that this one is also called hot water loop. So Revit does know which piping, it's pretty smart about which ones it's naming the loop. So this one right here is the loop. So I just wanted to kind of explain that, because as you guys start to do your design and modeling inside of Revit, these are going to be important concepts that you're going to need to know. And you're also going to need to keep track of your schedules. And the beautiful part is when I do my course, I'm going to show you guys how to create a template that's going to have all this for you. So all you have to do is model. So now let's just do some material takeoffs or pipe takeoffs using this concept right here. So I'm just going to drag this over, and we're just going to use this schedule that we already created. Maybe we want to create a duplicate of this schedule because I do want to keep this one intact. So I'm just going to right click on here, and we're just going to duplicate view and hit duplicate. And this one's going to be called, this is going to be renamed to pipe takeoff. So I want to go ahead and measure, calculate the length of pipe for the whole project so I can purchase this stuff. Now I'm not a contractor, but this is what I assume you guys would want to do. So let's go ahead and manipulate this schedule a little bit. So the only thing I really care about is the size of the pipe and the length of the pipe. Okay, so let's edit this a little bit. So let's go to our filters or our fields. And let's just get rid of the system name and the system name, or system type and system name. Now we just have diameter and length, and let's just hit OK right here and see what happens. As you can see, the only thing scheduling now is the diameter and the length. So we have those two, and let's just zoom out, and it's every single length of piece of pipe in this whole job. And now we have a grand total of 76 pieces of pipe, and they amount to about 1,029 feet. Okay, now I want to know how many pieces of pipe I need to purchase. Okay, and first off, we need to group these. So I want to see the different pieces and how much we got. So let's go back to our sorting and grouping, and let's sort by the diameter in ascending order. Let's click OK. Let's do that first. So now we have it grouped, you know, between 1/2 inch and then 1 inch, and let's go ahead and sort and group that again. And we're just going to create a footer under this, and we're going to do we're going to count these. So now we have a 1/2 inch piece of pipe, and we have 36 pieces, and the total amount of 1/2 inch pipe is 524 feet. So that's starting to get us some information right here. So let's take this even further. So now I know that I just Googled it, that I can get standard for these pieces of copper piping. They come in 12 feet. So let's go ahead and try to get the amount of pieces of pipe we would need to purchase. So let's go back to fields, and let's zoom in here, and we're going to actually create a calculated field. So let's click this calculated button, and it's just going to be the pipe amount, or pipe pieces I need to buy. Alright, so we're just going to use common, and the type is going to be number, and the formula, we're going to click on these little ellipses, and it's going to allow us to select the parameters that we have scheduled. So I'm going to use length, and I'm going to take the length, and I'm going to divide that by 12 feet. And we're going to hit OK. So let's hit OK here. And this new field popped up is pipe pieces I need to buy. Okay, so you can see that it is just fractions of pieces. So that's great, but we need a number down here. So let's go to our formatting, and let's go to pipe pieces I need to buy. And we're just going to calculate the total of this. We're going to hit OK. And as you can see, it says I need to buy 43.7 pieces of pipe. So maybe I want to round that to the nearest piece of pipe, which would be 44. So let's see if we can figure that out. So let's go to formatting, and let's click on pipe pieces I need to buy. And let's click on this field format and see what we can do here. And we're just going to go to fixed maybe? And we're just going to make it round to the nearest 0 decimal places, and we'll hit OK. And hopefully this says 44. So it does. So it's not showing me the pieces right here, but that's okay. All I really care about is this number right here, 44. Now since this is a material schedule, let's go ahead and add a field in here. So let's go to M for maybe material. Hit OK or hit up. And I think, yep, we're going to be able to say it's copper now, and that's a 1/2 inch piece of copper diameter. And these are all the pieces. So we need to buy 44 12-foot pieces of pipe. All right, with a total amount of 524. And if we wanted to round that, we could do that too. So in 3/4 inches, we need to buy 40 pieces of that. And for our 1 inch, we only need to buy two 12-foot pieces of pipe. So this is kind of how you would do pipe materials or pipe takeoffs in Revit, but you can actually apply this to anything. And one more quick thing I want to show you guys. If you want to kind of clean up this schedule a little bit, there's an easy way to do that. So what we can do is we can just go to our sorting and grouping, and we can still sort by the diameter, but let's go ahead and just get rid of itemize every instance. And now you can see that the totals are totaling up just right here in this one line. So I know that my 1/2 inch piece of pipe is total of 524 feet, and I need to buy 44 pieces of those pieces of pipe at the store. So this is how you would do that. Obviously we're going to ignore 86. So, if you need to clean this up, that's how you would do it. And I would just keep this schedule somewhere, and you can always copy this schedule into any project you want. Just kind of save this as a template file or something, and hopefully it makes your life a little easier. I hope you guys just understand this concept. I hope you guys got a lot out of this. It was really interesting to make this. Now, I will promise that, I go over the exact calculations and how I would calculate the hot water return inside Revit, because I know that's something that we have to do with, pencil and paper a lot, or using Excel. But, what's cool about Revit is we can do a lot of calculations within the software, and we can actually build templates that help us do our calculations really quickly, so we can just model, and then these calculations get made automatically. And that's what I'm going to teach you guys. I'm going to teach you guys how to build a really amazing template, and also I'm going to share a template with you guys so you guys can do all this stuff really fast, because my main goal with all of this stuff is to really speed up your modeling time. And I've sped up my modeling time very, very fast, but I can be better, and we can all be better. And I hope you guys keep giving me ideas for videos, and I'll keep making them, and hopefully we build a really cool community here on YouTube. So thanks guys, and have a good day.